The uncomfortable reality is that most guys give up almost immediately when confronted with romantic conflict, social pressure, or rejection anxiety. To be liked, they twist themselves into knots, undermine their own ideals, and repress their actual thoughts. In a desperate attempt to fit in, they chase individuals who are obviously uninterested, nod along to things they do not believe in, and give up their mental serenity. But there are a select few males that go a completely other route. They don't care about recognition, approval, or following the unspoken rules of society. The men who set invisible limits and silently enforce them are known as Sigma males. They seek harmony with their values, while others seek acceptability. Because they fail to understand why someone would prefer inner peace over fleeting popularity, or isolation over phony friendships, people frequently characterize them as cold, antisocial, or unyielding. In reality, self-respect is what appears to be arrogance. The purpose of Sigma guys is not to provide comfort to others. Even if it comes at a steep cost, they exist to be authentic. What distinguishes them is not what they do, but rather what they choose not to do. Regardless of the repercussions, Sigma guys will never put up with the following 7 things. 1. They never pursue those who don't return the favor. Perseverance and romance are often confused by males. They start all the plans, engage emotionally in individuals who obviously don't appreciate them, and keep texting someone who seldom ever responds. They use the illusory belief that their loyalty will eventually be rewarded to defend this one-sided endeavor. However, the frequency at which Sigma males function is different. They cease as soon as they realize the energy is not reciprocal. No spectacular departures. Don't feel guilty. Simply a silent retreat of their focus and time. They believe that both parties must invest in a relationship, whether it is romantic or not. As Maya Angelou once said, never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option. They live by this maxim. Self-respect is an absolute necessity for Sigmas. 2. They never pretend to feel sorry for the victim. Playing victim is a common way to get attention, emotional support, and occasionally even prestige in today's society. However, this mindset is rejected by Sigma guys. They don't flaunt their suffering to win sympathy, even when life throws them to the ground. They would rather deal with their difficulties in privacy, overcome them, and come out stronger rather than pity-faced. They cease as soon as they realize the energy isn't reciprocal. No spectacular departures. Don't feel guilty. Simply a silent retreat of their focus and time. Male Sigmas don't waste time justifying their withdrawals, and they don't play games. They merely act appropriately after identifying instances of one-sided effort.
Since it is pointless in their world if it is not reciprocal, they don't see the value in persuading someone to care or to match their energy. Relationships, whether platonic, romantic, or professional, are a holy exchange of energy for Sigma males. Mutual regard, emotional reciprocity, and a commitment to regular attendance are necessary. The foundation becomes unstable if even one of those pillars is absent. At that point, a Sigma bows out in silence, to maintain their inner calm, not to control. Their motto is, never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option, as said by Maya Angelou. For them, these words are a code of conduct rather than merely a quote. Sigma guys won't be a convenience, a stand-in, or a backup plan in anyone's life. They disappear as soon as they realize they're being treated that way, not out of rage, but out of conviction. This quiet departure is frequently misinterpreted. People think they're cold-hearted or distant. In actuality, however, Sigma men have only perfected the technique of emotional distance. They are aware that respect for oneself cannot be compromised. They will not consider circumstances in which they are underappreciated. They will not overextend themselves, beg, or plead for someone who is incapable of meeting their needs. They don't see relationships as a sign of need or desperation. They see them as decisions, willful, deliberate bonds based on mutual work and profound feeling. They halt when they realize they are the only ones striking up discussions, organizing events, or bearing the emotional burden, and they react by keeping their distance, not to punish, but to preserve their energy. When the stillness on the other side becomes unbearable. The strength of Sigma males lies in their lack of need for closure, justifications, or excuses. They are able to read the signs because of their keen intuition. They have learned not to dread detachment from their seclusion. Therefore, it's final when they go. No apologies, no second chances, no announcements. Just tranquility. Boundaries, not resentment, are the source of this worldview. Sigma males know that when someone truly wants you in their life, you don't have to battle for it. So they let go rather than clutch. They flee rather than pursue. Additionally, they boost their vibration rather than reduce their standards. For them, letting go of things that don't reflect their value is the ultimate expression of self-love. This includes one-sided commitments, erratic friendships, and half-hearted relationships. And how lovely their stillness was? It is more powerful than any conflict could possibly be. 3. Like the plague, they stay away from energy vampires. People who drain you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally are the kind that we are all familiar with. They throw their issues on you, make every discussion into a therapy session, and refuse to change no matter how much you tell them. Because they feel guilty, most individuals put up with this. Male Sigmas do not. Energy vampires are immediately recognized, and they leave with strategic distance rather than animosity. They refuse to criticize or confront. They just move on, keep their peace, and become less accessible. It's one thing to assist someone. Another is being emotionally blackmailed by their disarray. Sigma men are adept at manipulating emotions. They have acquired it by traumatic experiences rather than paranoia. They have experienced being gradually, subtly, and methodically depleted by others. Those who manipulated guilt, who pretended to be the victim in order to maintain control, who made you feel responsible for their chaos. However, Sigma guys are not fooled by that twice. They are aware of the warning signs, which include the perpetual drama, the covert shifting of blame, and the recurrent crises that always demand your emotional effort. When their presence is being used for comfort rather than connection, when support is never returned, and when talks turn into one-sided therapy sessions, they can tell. A Sigma guy turns dark at that point, not with malice, but with clarity. They owe no energy to those who use them as a place to vent their emotions. Their withdrawal is not explained. Long texts about borders are not what they write. They simply back off, quietly, entirely, and without sound. People are confused by this type of remoteness. Energy vampires in particular. They are accustomed to responding. Emotional conflict is what they feed on. Male Sigmas, however, deprive them of it. Don't argue. No justifications. Only a blank spot where their goal had been. And that quiet? It is disastrous for those who manipulate others. The fundamental reality is that Sigma males are defending peace, not avoiding people. They regard their emotional and mental vitality as valuable commodities. Additionally, they don't spend it in places that don't appreciate or value it. They don't have much time. Their inner circle is something they have to earn. The Sigma simply walks away if someone keeps bringing emotional storms into their lives. They don't strive to control the weather. Not with malice, not a drama. Just an unwavering determination to remain grounded. They've discovered that saving someone who can't swim will only end up drowning you. What sets the Sigma apart from others is that their detachment is intelligence rather than apathy. It's being aware of when assisting someone turns into self-harm. It's realizing that empathy has to have boundaries, that showing kindness does not equate to being exploited. They support emotional accountability. Sigma males step away if someone refuses to change, refuses to accept responsibility, and wants others to bear the burden of their dysfunction. They don't discuss, argue, or diagnose. They simply vanish. Because mental peace is ultimately a Sigma's top objective. For their peace, they have put up a fierce fight, and they will defend it like a stronghold. In addition to draining you, energy vampires divert your attention from your objectives, your mission, and your tranquility. And men from Sigma? Distractions are not allowed to persist. Therefore, don't assume that their disappearance from harmful environments indicates weakness. It is the pinnacle of strength. It's the power of silence, not the cacophony of conflict. I see what you're doing, says the power, and I'm not going to let it to affect me. 4. They never concede character by social status. Titles, wealth, and the number of followers are idolized by society. We presume that someone with a high-powered profession or a fancy car must be intelligent, valuable, or admirable. Male Sigmas are not susceptible to this delusion. They evaluate people based on their actions rather than their standing. Are you telling the truth? Are you nice? Are you dependable? They treat you the same whether you're the CEO or the janitor, until your behavior reveals your true identity. According to a quote by Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. They stand out in a society that is fixated on titles, looks, and superficial measurements because of their mentality. Sigma men don't give a damn about how many followers you have or what brand your watch is. Your character is important to them. They observe how you interact with cashiers, waiters, and others who have nothing to offer you, because that's where the true you appears to them. They have seen rooms where people showed off their wealth but lacked fundamental manners. They have witnessed how charm can be used as a cover for manipulation and how power can conceal insecurity. They don't fall for flash because of this. They have taught themselves to keep an eye out for honesty, consistency, and how someone behaves when no one else is around. They are constantly looking for the truth, not drama or rumors. They watch in silence. Under pressed, how do you respond? Are you able to keep modest promises? Do you treat people with respect, particularly when they're not present? These minor behavioral clues are used by Sigma men to construct a complete picture, and that impression endures after they see the true you. They don't waste time with shallow, conceited, or disloyal people. They are deliberate, not because they are judgmental. They are as disciplined in defending their circle as they are in defending their tranquility. Mutual respect, emotional honesty, and shared ideals are the foundations of their relationships rather than networking or appearances. This implies that they develop strong ties gradually, but when they do, they are strong and enduring. Transactional friendships are not something they are interested in. They don't look to other people for approval or attention. Authenticity is more important to them than anything else. Instead of pretending to connect in order to blend in, they would prefer to sit quietly by themselves. They set an example as well. They hold themselves to the same standards that they hold others to. Unless they give it, they don't ask for it. Unless they first offer loyalty, they don't expect it. They have internal coding. They also have no tolerance for those who don't, since they live by it. Ultimately, their strategy is subdued yet effective. They may not express it much, but they have strong feelings. They examine your responses, decisions, and integrity rather than your resume. Because to them, the best way to show who you are is by how you make other people feel and how you conduct yourself when no one else is there. 5. They never allow the same someone to cause them pain twice. Trust is a valuable resource that Sigma men do not take lightly. You won't have the same access if you betray them once. They merely minimize your significance in their lives. They don't harbor resentment or seek retribution. Sigmas take the medium route, whereas most men either destroy bridges completely or forgive too easily. They are courteous, even friendly. But your influence ceases when trust is lost. According to the quote from Warren Buffett, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. 6. They never pretend to like someone for their own benefit. Fake laughter, coerced praise, and superficial networking are common in most social settings. For the sole purpose of advancing their status or profession, people pretend to like other people. Male Sigmas decline to take part in this theater. They treat everyone with basic decency, but they won't pretend to be interested or have chemistry. They may miss out on social invitations or networking benefits, which is a short-term expense. However, with time, their genuineness draws better connections. They don't pander, so people trust them. Be yourself, Oscar Wilde once advised sagely. Everybody else has already been taken. 7. They don't boast or attempt to control social situations. In order to demonstrate their power, intelligence, or position, some guys feel the need to be the loudest person in the room. They take over every conversation and make it all about themselves. The converse is true for Sigma guys. They have no desire to impress. They are not in need of praise. They will speak out if they have something worthwhile to contribute. Otherwise, they are happy to listen. People are frequently perplexed by their quiet assurance. It is interpreted as arrogance by some. However, it isn't. It's just confidence without the commotion. Those who know do not speak. As Lao Tzu famously stated, people who talk don't know. Concluding remarks. Sigma men are not unjustified rebels. In a society that encourages noise, uniformity, and emotional reliance, these guys have consciously chosen to safeguard their integrity, vitality, and tranquility. They can feel worthy without the attention or approval of others. Their inner strength is what makes them strong. If this struck a chord with you, sign up for more insightful content, as if this improved your perspective, and leave a comment below with your opinions. As always, remain focused, remain grounded, and continue to grow.